and we get together every Sunday What's up, Sunday fams? Welcome back to another video. My name's Flip.
I'm Element.
We get together every Sunday to catch up on our favorite TV shows, movies, and everything in pop culture entertainment. We just saw BRIGHTBURN. Produced by James Gunn himself, famous director of Guardians of the Galaxy, he pays homage to his horror roots, teams up with Elizabeth Banks once again. This was kind of a really practical, very low-budgeted type of origin story that pays a lot of homage to Superman.
Yeah, I was going to start off this review pointing out all of the missed opportunities they had to kind of try and diverge from all of the tropes of Superman, Kansas, farm family, spaceship hidden in the barn, alien baby. But you know what? It's obvious that this movie is shameless about, paying homage to everything that is Superman and asks the question, what if Superman was actually evil? And so after I got past that, I accepted the movie for what it was. It's obviously a full-on homage to that story and flips the script in terms of how Clark Kent ends up out of Kansas, out of Smallville.
The one thing that I really liked about this movie was kind of it gets there really fast. It doesn't take so much time to kind of build up the backstory or kind of set up some type of development. It gets there pretty fast because I think it is intended that it pays like those homages to Superman, and so we're all pretty familiar to the story, so you don't really need to spend that much time setting it up.
Yeah, and we're also expecting it to be like he's gonna grow up to be this evil Superman, but no, it starts from when he's like 12 years old, right after his birthday, and it just everything falls apart from there. And one of the things that stands out in this movie to me is just the hard R stuff. Just some of the deaths in this, some of the violence in this, you don't expect from a typical Superman property. But
were you caught off guard with some of the scenes? It was pretty graphic.
Yeah, I was caught off guard. There's one scene in particular.
We don't need to spoil it.
Yeah, there's one scene in particular where I was just like, that's horrible.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. And then they showed it. I was like, oh, I just saw it. So
I mean, they did create this movie with a very small budget, $7 million. It's already made almost $10 million in the box office. So we could expect a sequel, right? I mean, if there is an evil superhero, if evil has found their superhero, who is the superhero for the good? Whatever planet that Brandon comes from, could we expect that there might be a sequel that, like, a character like Zod, came in Man of Steel movies?
It could be.
I think that would be really interesting.
If this is like a one-to-one flip the script Superman, then the one person that could possibly put them in their place is a heroic and a good-natured dark side.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's gotta be a little bit of history, right, or some kind of origin story. If Superman's from Krypton, obviously there was the races there, that there was Zod, they were all the same, they were good and bad, right?
Yeah, I was kind of expecting, at least towards the end of the movie, for them to introduce someone of his nature to be the antithesis, but it ended with evil winning, and that's one of those kinds of subversions that you don't expect. A lot of the conversation around this movie is obviously that it's shattering expectations, and they're right. It's basically, you expect a good guy to win at the end of these movies.
Yeah.
And if it starts out with an evil person such as BRIGHTBURN or Brandon, then you expect someone to come out in the end. So one of the things that also stood out to me was this kind of playful, jovial natured conversation that his father had with him in the woods after they found the stash.
I thought it was very interesting when the dad was talking to him about all things in puberty, the birds and the bees stories, and you asked me, it was like, how would you talk to your kids?
Yes.
And it's gonna be blunt. Yeah, I would do it really very bluntly. There's there's this, and then there's this, and well, I'm not gonna do the whole hand
there's the
gesture.
bee and there's the bee. One goes in.
I think that's a very difficult conversation, but I would probably say, you know what? Yeah, these are just things that guys do to their bodies that it's a natural kind of thing. It's a natural phenomenon that men do to their bodies. Well,
I think we came to the conclusion, at least I came to the conclusion, that it's a lot tougher to talk about that subject than it is to talk about general sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Along with all of the other homages paid to the Superman franchise, obviously, is these hints or these notes that we hear from the soundtrack of this movie with little like ding ding and then the whistles.
It's very Man of Steel-esque.
Yeah. Every time I heard it, I was like ding ding, and then it would just like diverge into its own song.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like ding ding.
Yeah, and the whistling too, right? That was
Yeah.
also kind of very like Man of Steel-ish. And every time, like you said, every time you heard it, you'd be like, some point in that song, some point in that music is like dan da 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 da.
But
you know
they chose a good song for this particular iteration of Superman.
Yeah.
It is very dark, very evil, and the movie plays out just as evil as you'd expect. The movie kind of catches us with some like resemblances to other movies too. Like the evil nature obviously comes forward the most, so obviously Superman is just like underneath in terms of homages. So like when I was seeing him like fly around with that red cape, you know what comes to mind, right?
What comes to mind, guys? Like, it's a little bit, picture this in your mind right now. Akira, right?
Yes, Tetsuo from Akira, when he's going around like reaping destruction around the city with his red cape, flapping.
It's tattered, like he took it from somewhere. I don't remember.
I mean,
from the movie, but it's very iconic still. It's
the red cape obviously is of course iconic to Superman, but if we're dealing with like evil archetypes, Tetsuo comes to mind. There's also kind of like elements of insanity too, which of course,
yes, also reminds us of Chronicle. Now, obviously, they went through. They went with a more horror theme for this movie.
Yeah.
Why don't we go to the meter?
Scary as shit. Ooh. This movie is scary as shit. Now, I'm not one to get scared too easily, and I wasn't scared, but like the mood and the setting that they were illustrating from scene to scene when he was like skulking around and stalking people, that was pretty creepy.
That was really like.
It almost reminded me of like Omen and then the child from there.
That's a very good point, because it is a very practical movie, and they use practical sets and practical effects to kind of set the mood, the tension, and it reminded you of old school horror movies.
Yes.
So, I mean, it wasn't really that scary for me. Like, those moments were scary.
It was horrifying.
Yeah.
A lot of the deaths,
yeah.
Especially when I cite a movie like Omen, a lot of the deaths and a lot of the gore that's in this, it's so like gory that it reminds me of like Final Destination and even Omen when in that movie when they would kind of foreshadow their deaths with like a picture and like a line going through their neck. It's like, oh, you know how they're gonna die. But some of the scenes in particular that's just not violent in nature but has somebody getting hurt is like, it's not like cutaway. It's like right there and you can see it. I'm like motioning the thing that bothered me, but like I'm not gonna spoil anything, but that was really like off-putting.
Yeah, added with the shock factor of what you're actually seeing on the screen, plus the setup, the mood, the tension, then it all kind of adds up to it.
Yes. So I think this movie was actually a success in terms of what it was trying to accomplish.
Of course, you had Michael Rooker coming in at the end of this movie as a special guest appearance.
We all know that was an homage. I'll be positive about it. It's an homage to a certain radio host out there that's of the same nature. All right, that'll do it for our review of Brightburn. We give it a 3.5 stars out of 5. 3.5. We're closer to 4, but it's not quite there yet. It was still a great movie, very enjoyable and very horrifying. As always, leave it in the comment section down below what you thought of the movie yourself. And as always, leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification for more, and we'll see you in the next one.